Rory McIlroy's victory at the Masters completed a career Grand Slam, which was a long time coming, and one of golf's greatest sports psychologists appeared to have played a key role in all that. The Northern Irishman had plenty of mental obstacles to overcome, certainly in his final round, which he managed with the help of the legendary sports psychologist Dr. Bob Rotella. I spoke to him a little earlier and asked him first how he felt watching Rory's historic achievement unfold.
I thought it was a fantastic performance. I thought it was very human. I thought it was a performance a lot of people could identify with, that it was, you know, you hit good shots and you hit bad shots and you have to keep on playing the game. You know, that's a lot of what it's all about. You know, I mean, everyone's talking about his resilience, but that's something he's really worked hard to develop. And a lot of it he's had to really accept that no matter how good you get at golf, no matter how talented you are, you're going to miss a lot of shots. And you got to just go get the ball in the hole and deal with the game. And, you know, we talk about a lot about if you love golf, you got to love the fact that it's a game of mistakes. And all the other guys are going to make mistakes too.
And when you've been talking to him specifically, I mean, it's well known he's got phenomenal talent. It was the mental side of his game that was being questioned as the years passed and he didn't win another major. Just talk to us about how you helped him, how you were talking to him.
I'd say last week I sent him a long text that really covered all the key points I really wanted to emphasize for this week. And then this week, or the week of the tournament, pretty much every day we'd sit down in a room at the end of the practice range, you know, for a bit and go over those points. And, you know, the bottom line is we knew that this was going to be a challenging week and that he was going to be nervous. And this has been something he's been chasing for a long time. And we knew it wasn't all going to go perfect. The first day went about as good as it could go until he got to 15. And then the greens got unbelievably firm and fast out of nowhere. They'd be kind of soft early day. He hit what he thought was a beautiful pitch shot that went in the water, and then made a mistake on 17. And so then after that, it's like talking about, okay, you know, our next conversation was most of the great stories in sports history have been bounce back stories or comeback stories. So you've set yourself up for a great comeback story. And this is just a chapter in your story. Let's turn this into a great story. And then we spent a lot of time talking about our goal on the golf course was to get lost in your own little world out there. Just you and Harry and your golf ball and your game. And, you know, we really like his personality, so let's just be Rory and be yourself. And we spent a lot of time on that. And we really had this idea that I want you to be able to walk off the golf course every night and be able to look in the mirror and say, that's how I want to feel when I play golf. And, you know, I think we just kept going over that stuff. And God bless him. We talked a lot about you got to have a mind that is like steel. And we talked a lot about willpower and that, you know, will gives us the ability to do whatever we want to do and think whatever we want to think. And a lot of it's how you're going to respond to all the crazy stuff that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, what did you say when the ball went in the creek, and then on the last yesterday he put it in the bunker? I mean, these are moments of extreme sporting pressure. It's difficult to think of more sporting pressure. Did you expect him to handle that, or were you worried about that?
I wasn't worried at all. I mean, my last words to him before he went to the course today, you know, we had a nice embrace and a hug. And I said, go do what you know how to do. I mean, you've been training for this for a long time. And, you know, what he's training for is he's trying to chase human potential. He knows he's got a gift and he appreciates it and loves it and he's passionate about it. And he wants to find out how much he can do with the gift he's got. And, you know, I might add that I think someone really needs to study what they're doing in Ireland, because the Irish golfers have won a lot of championships and, you know, he's kind of been the leader of the pack, but they're all very down to earth, just solid people who treat other people, you know, in a very wonderful way. They're unbelievably confident when they play, but they have no arrogance or ego about them in their life or the way they treat other people. It's a wonderful combination.
Was it the weight of expectation over these years? I mean, 11 years people talk about. Do you think it was just the weight of expectation building all the time and making it all the more difficult for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think expectations, play a really big role. And that's the interesting thing about potential that we mentioned a minute ago. Sometimes people that the world doesn't see potential in end up becoming really successful. And a lot of times people they think have a lot of potential don't get it out of themselves and don't become great champions. So, I mean, yeah, it can be a burden, but it's also a nice thing to have. But, he's having a ball seeing what he can do with it. And, it begins, where you grow up. It's affected by your parents. He's got wonderful parents, and he's got a lot of friends. Like if you watched, Shane Lowry and Tommy Fleetwood after, they were almost as happy as Rory was for his win. And that says a lot about them.
Do you think now we will see a Rory McIlroy unburdened by expectation? And do you think that will be more majors, more tournament wins? Do you think he will just go out there and play now without this fear?
I don't think he's been playing with fear, but I think there's been pressure. I think my immediate response is, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do some really awesome stuff. And I've been telling him for quite a while that you don't usually win majors. And my players have won 82 of them. And this makes 83. And I go, they hardly ever win the way you dream it up. And I doubt if this is the way he dreamt it up. But you know what? You got to take it and just find a way to win with whatever you got.
Yeah, and just finally, the scenes on that final green, that outpouring of emotion, and they were extraordinary moments. What did you think when you were witnessing that?
I was grinning because I just knew how happy he was and how you could see the relief coming out of him. So he's been feeling a lot of pressure. And I had tears in my eyes because I was so happy for him and his family. Because the world, it's probably hard for us to understand what they all go through when you're chasing something like this. Because what most people do, if they don't get it pretty quickly, they give up on themselves and they give up on the dream and they lower their ambitions and say, I guess I just wasn't meant to do this. And he's been fighting for his dreams. And I hope that's the message for a lot of people who are viewing it, that don't give up on your dreams. Keep believing and keep working at it. And my guess is Rory's going to still be very passionate about the game of golf. And he's got a lot of dreams he's still going to chase. And, I think there's going to be some great things for him.